what is our first order of business, Rashay? Is it to review the minutes?
Yep, so approval of April 21st, 2020 meeting minutes.
Okay, do we have a motion for approving the minutes?
I will approve the minutes from last month's meeting.
Okay, do we have a second?
I will second that.
All in favor? Aye.
Excellent. Okay, so the first COA is COA application 20-22, which is Victor Hall and Hall Construction applicant Thomas and Kelsey Hamilton owners request to replace the railing at 218 East Stephen Foster Avenue. Hi, guys.
And this is what we discussed last month and tabled, is that right?
It was denied.
It was denied, okay, and
Yeah,
now
so we're amended and we're coming back, yeah.
okay.
Do you guys want to talk about the project, Kelsey or Victor, and the changes you made?
Yes, I can't tell. Is Victor on here?
He is.
He's
Okay.
listening.
Okay. So he had the first time that we presented, he had a different material that he was going to use on the exterior of the railing. And so now he has gone back and decided to wrap those in redwood. So it would be an actual wood, so that it's not a synthetic material or anything like that. So we were hoping that with that amendment that we would be able to, all we want to do, we want it to look exactly the same. We want to paint the same color and everything. We would just like it to be raised to a regulation height, because we have little ones. We have a 4-year-old and a 2-year-old, and we have access right off. I mean, it's right here. There's the doors in our bedroom. So just, and it's right across from the kids' rooms and stuff. So just if one of them ends up out there, God forbid, the railing height is safe, because now it's not.
I don't think the railing height before wasn't, like for us, was an issue to raise it higher. I think it was really just the material that we needed to be wood. I think, of course, you want your kids to be safe out on there.
Yeah.
So
How much higher is it going to be, Kelsey, for the record?
It was going to be right now.
46 inches.
Oh, is it Victor?
Yeah.
Yay. Okay.
36 inches high and with 3.5-inch rails, and it's going to be 5-inch columns on it there. Redwood wrapped. Yeah.
So what's the total height?
It's 36 inches.
36.
And what is it currently?
36 inches is code, and it's 36. It's going to be 36 inches high. Yes.
Okay. And Victor,
And
how high is the railing currently?
It's 32 inches now.
32. Oh, yeah. So that's not significant at all. That's great. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's perfectly fine.
Yeah.
And the balusters are 8-inch on center, very dangerous also. And now they're going to be the code minimum 4-inch on center.
Good.
So a child won't be able to go through them, you know.
That's very important.
I mean, I'm all for kids' heads getting stuck in railings, but let's not have it.
We don't want to fight that.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's not have that happen. Okay, were there anything else that needed to be discussed? Okay, do we have a motion for COA? My, it was turned off again.
20-22.
20-22.
I will make the motion to recommend approval of COA 20-22. The railing is consistent with the porch steps and stairs standards set forth in section 4 of the Barstown Historic Design Review Manual.
We have a second?
I will second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Excellent. Okay. Okay.
Is this 36 is Pat?
Nope. So 36 is also Kelsey and Victor.
Okay.
So they're wanting to remove a tree in the front yard. Kelsey, do you want to talk a little bit about that too?
Yes, you all should have some pictures there. I have talked to Brent Willett, who's owns Willett Landscaping. And he does our landscaping for us. And he looked at that tree and he thought that it was planted in like the 80s. So it's not, we don't think it's original or like super old historic tree. But the root system allows it to, or won't allow us to grow any grass in the front yard. There's damage to the tree, to the trunk, and to the branches. It loses branches. And so he said that with a large tree, once it's like distressed and damaged in the trunk and the limbs, that can be dangerous in like a windstorm situation. And then also it's just blocking the view of the house. You can see that it blocks a lot of the house. It's really large. I feel like it's maybe not size appropriate, maybe something smaller would make it to where you could have greater visibility of the front of the house. And so if we could replace it with like a dogwood or a maple, something smaller and more size appropriate. But
Rashay, my only question is, are we supposed to replace larger trees with larger trees? Because it seems too big for the location.
Yeah, so we are supposed to make conditions on that too for similar things. So this is up to you guys and what you feel is appropriate with this. Because for instance, David Erickson's house on Broadway, he had that large tree right in between two properties. It was way too big for the area. And they had planted it. They hadn't thought about how big the tree was going to get. And of course, it started causing issues with foundation and other things. So that's why he was allowed to remove, and he was allowed to plant something back, but in the backyard, if you all remember that. So this would be something you could also take into consideration if you wanted it to be planted. But I would say plant something back in the front yard, but it probably should be smaller if you were going to consider this to be the reasons to be significant enough to let it be removed.
Rashay, I walked over and studied that, and it is way oversized for that area, as well as the character of the neighborhood. No one else, the neighbors next to them on the left do not have any trees in the front other than street trees, and the neighbors across the street have no yard trees. They're street trees, if you will.
Thank you, Pat.
On that side, they have a maple on the street in the exact same side. So it just does not balance the neighborhood.
Got it. Thank you. I appreciate that very much. So with that recommendation, Pat, what would you recommend? Would you recommend a much smaller tree even go back, or would you say plant something in the backyard smaller?
I think a smaller tree in the front, like a threadleaf maple or the dogwood that was discussed.
And we actually had one more idea. Thank you so much, Ms. Hagan. But then we also had one more idea. The to the right, if you zoom, you'll have to zoom a little bit because it's kind of a dark picture. But if you zoom, you can see that we have a round planter.
Am I the only one lost?
Go to the very end for the picture of the house.
And it's on page, let's see. I'm trying to find it.
It's like 9 of 9.
Yeah. Thank you, Pat.
I think is she.
And you can see it on page 8 as well. So
I
that
think
round
Beth
planter.
I think Beth is like lost. No, you know what I mean? Like on the Zoom meeting.
Oh, thanks. No, I was like, she's lost in the application. Thanks, Summer. I missed it completely. I appreciate it. Yep. Okay, so let me pull back the view.
And that is a
huge, lost her.
It's a huge circular area.
Yes. Is that the retaining wall?
No, it's a planter. It's a raised planter.
Yeah.
Oh.
And right now, when the Conways owned the house, it was just like they let it grow with this kind of like viny looking weed.
Okay.
So we were thinking, we talked with Brent, and he thought that we could get rid of that and maybe do a tree in there.
The planter?
In the planter. Yes.
I think there's something significant about those stones, and I'm not sure what it is, Kelsey. And if you know different, please let me know. But for some reason, it's flagging in my mind about those stones being significant or being from somewhere else on the property, and I may be completely wrong. And if I am, let me know.
No, and leave those stones. Leave the.
Leave the stones.
Yes, leave that.
Oh.
Just kill out what's in. So there's the stone, like retaining wall planter situation. And right now in there, it's just like ivy junk that they trim every now and then because it gets bushy kind of. And so we talked about maybe killing that out, leaving that planter, and then doing like a tree in the middle. And I'm sure this would probably have to be a separate meeting, but possibly doing like an ivy and like some shrubs around there, just kind of, and I could provide a picture down the road, but we talked about maybe doing it there if that would be something that you all would let us consider instead of planting another tree right back where that one is. But if you think we need a tree back where that one is too,
no,
we're all for trees. So whatever.
No, and see, yeah, I don't think it needs to go right back there because first off, the root system won't allow for another tree to grow well when you remove it. Even if you remove the roots, and have the stuff removed, it's still going to be difficult to necessarily have something that grows back there. So I think that smaller area, that's perfectly fine, at least in my opinion, to put another tree, a smaller tree there. So I think that that's absolutely okay.
Hey, Rashay, would you, talking about Kelsey's vision for that planter area, could you staff approve?
I was going to
she
say,
wanted to do some additional landscaping so she doesn't have to wait another month.
Yeah, no, yeah,
Okay.
that's what I was also going to request. Can we staff approve anything else she wants to do? And that way we can finish off her landscaping.
Yes, let's do
I think
that.
that's great.
Yay!
I was disconnected for most of that, but I feel okay with.
We're glad you're back, Beth. I was scared.
Missed a lot of great hand movements. I'm sure you're going to be disappointed.
I was like, what is going on? Everything froze. I had to leave that area. Oh, good. Now there's a lawnmower. It's either a lawnmower or 3 kids. So
She was saying basically plant a smaller tree back in that area and then staff approve any other landscape changes with that, if you're okay with that. That's the same what we've got to. Okay.
absolutely.
Okay. I will make a motion to recommend approval of COA 20-36. The motion is based on the finding that the tree removal and replacement with a smaller tree is consistent with landscape standards set forth in Section 4 of the Bardstown Historic Design Review Manual.
Second.
Well, with the following conditions that anything,
yes.
the tree and any other landscape changes will be staff approved.
Yes, ma'am.
Got it.
Second.
Second, all in favor? Aye.
Did anyone hear back from Josh? Should I send him a message?
I got him. He said there was an emergency at work. He said he will log on as soon as he possibly can.
Okay, cool.
Okay, so we're skipping 37. That's Pat.
Yes.
Sorry, Pat.
And going to 38.
Do we have to move that to the end? Like, do we have to?
Yeah. Yeah, well, that's okay. And we'll come back to it. And Kelsey, you're free to, you're absolutely free to go. And Victor, you're free to go too. You don't have to stay for the rest of the meeting. So thank you.
Thank you all so much.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
All right, so we're moving on to COA 20-38.
Let's do it.
Jamie and Patrick.
Hello.
Hi.
Yes.
Okay, so Jamie, I know I talked to Pat about this extensively. I don't know if Pat told you everything too. So you've got the only fence in Bardstown.
Oh, yes, we know that.
Okay, good. Okay, good. So I'm just gonna reiterate that for the record, HRB people. And so people, we have it for the record so I can state it. So essentially, the state has to come in and do reviews, usually every year, sometimes every year and a half, depending on how they want to do. But they show up and they're like, let's go through your historic district. And it's a great day for me because I'm usually given very little heads up. And this is part of being a CLG certified local government. And so one of the things that they were not thrilled with was the color of the fence.
I heard about that.
Yeah, so they basically were like, fences should be a lighter color or a lighter-ish color. Our regs now reflect that. But back in the day, our regs were not as specific as what they are now. So we've updated the regulations to go with their recommendations and what they stated with the fence. So the black fence is something that is not going to be approved again. It can't be. But you have it, and we're not going to punish you because you went through all the channels, and we didn't know that the state was going to have a feeling about that, right?
Right.
That's not something that's necessarily specific in federal guidelines either. Not really. It's not very clear. So you have it and you're allowed to keep it. But if it was to ever come down, right, something else, another color would probably have to go up. But that's
Okay.
we're not going to worry about that. You get to keep it. So
Okay, good.
the
We love
question with the rest of the fence, I feel like it should still be black. I don't feel she should be punished for that. I know that it's technically allowing something back like that, but because she was already allowed for it before the guidelines, I don't want her to have a fence that is mismatched in color. And I think that would stand out way more than allowing her to do another smaller section that's black.
Okay.
Because it wasn't, it's not her fault that we didn't know. And the guidelines didn't necessarily reflect that.
Okay, Rashay, we're talking about a small section to the right, to the west of the home, and then a larger section in the back of the home. So you're good with both of those being black?
Yes, I am. I feel like it should be consistent because it was approved before that was changed, and the state just came back and said, you know what, from now on, let's try to keep them lighter. They weren't like necessarily livid, but they were like, let's just not do that again. But I don't feel like she should be punished because she wants to extend her fence.
And we're talking about two different fences in two different locations.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
just
thank
the
you.
one on the side of the house would be exactly wooden or as the one on the other side of the house. The one on the alley would be different material and a different style, because we do not want a solid wooden fence in the back of our house. The reason we're asking for this small piece of fence on the one side of the house is strictly for privacy, so people can't see into our yard as they walk on the sidewalk in front of our house.
And Jamie, I just want to, this is all for the record too. I want to make sure it's going from the side of the back of the house back, right? It's not starting in your front yard anywhere. It's going from the back of the house back on that.
Well,
on that.
No, it's on the side of the house, but it is in the on the back. It's coming from the garage over towards the property line or neighbor. So it's parallel to East John Fitch, but it is about 12 feet, would be about 12 feet from the back of the house. And it's definitely way away from the front yard. It's on the garage, actually, is where it is.
Okay.
Gotcha. I agree. I'm fine with her adding more fence like her current fence.
Yeah, I don't want to punish her and make her do a brown fence or anything else when it wasn't her fault to begin with. You know what I mean? That the regs weren't and that honestly was something, even the federal guidelines still hasn't, they've talked, of course, to the state, but it's nothing they've published since then. So it's just a consensus among state CLGs that they want the fences to be lighter. We thought too, Jamie, because of our uniqueness here in Bardstown and the distillery mold, we thought we would be an exception too. We actually didn't even know it was a violation, but even when I was defending it, I was like, well, did you know about it? Distillery mold?
Yeah.
They weren't going to necessarily waive that for us. They're like, nah, we still want them to be lighter. But
They're gonna be black.
Yeah, they're going to be black, which is really funny.
Eventually
Yeah,
it
they're
will be.
eventually all going to be black. Is accurate.
Yep.
And then not only that though, but I think it would look horrid with two different colored fences.
Oh.
I think it would look really bad. And I think that's a worse violation of the guidelines, the mismatching, than allowing this to be an exception because it was approved previously.
And how wide? It's approximately 18 feet, 12 feet from the back of the garage, and then approximately 18 feet wide.
No, it would be, you might be looking at the fence number 2 we're talking about in the alley. This would be, and it should be under the original description, it's about 10 feet wide, 6 foot tall, 10 foot wide.
Oh, okay. It's 18 feet. It says at the top to the property line, but that's not a reference to the side.
It's quite,
Okay.
so that's not an issue about.
So
where
it's
that
just,
is.
it's just one panel. I mean,
Correct.
one or
Yeah.
two panels.
Yes.
It's okay. And then what is the fence in the rear going to be?
Okay, and that would be about, it's about 22 feet from the alley, because we're leaving the part behind the fence on the alley for parking kind of area. And it would be wooden posts, which would be 6 by 4 inches, 6-inch side facing the house. It's gonna look like a 6-inch. And it would be painted black as well. And it would run from the other long black fence across the back. And it would be the posts 8 foot apart. And in between that would be an iron panel made by Taylor Welding that would be basically iron slats going across. And I think you have a diagram number 2 replacement that shows what it would be. It's going to be a panel that they weld that we can screw in there. And then the top and the bottom, we're known for changing horses in midstream. We decided we wanted a railing of type on that. So we would like to do a 2x4 painted black also at the top and the bottom to kind of frame out that panel. So it would be a black iron panel and black wood.
And black wood posts.
Correct.
Yes.
Okay, so this was the only thing, Jamie, and I know I kind of emailed you this about too. So with another property that we came across with this issue, they wanted to mix a wood fence and then a solid metal fence together. Do you all recall that?
No, that's
Okay.
before me.
That might be before you. Well, they wanted to do a privacy fence and then they wanted to do a metal fence, and they met in a really weird, awkward position that allowed for high visibility. This is at the back, which is slightly different, but we did deny it on that aspect. We made them go all wood instead of mixing. Now, granted, this one is mixed wood and metal, but I wanted to make sure that we're consistent because we denied that other person that opportunity. And if you all feel that this is a consensus with the design and you're okay with that being mixed and it being at the rear of the property, I just want to be clear with that motion. So I have that documented. Okay.
Yeah, this is only can be seen from the alley.
Yes. I think that's important that it's only visible from the alley rather than from the front of the house.
I'm just trying to
It's one
find
issue
in our,
with the other property.
Pardon me?
And that was one issue with the other property. It was visible from the front of the house.
Just personally, I would never recommend that we put this in the front of the house. Part of why we're doing this, keeping it open because we like that view. It's a lot of green in the back. And so we wanted it open and yeah. And because it's pretty functional at the back of the house. We have a really deep yard.
Yes.
It really, the primary purpose is not security because it's not going to be a fence that goes all the way around our back. It is literally to keep people from walking through our yard and letting their dogs go through our yard. That's pretty much the purpose.
Yeah.
And Jamie, the finished side out has to be the one that faces the street or the side.
There is no, I mean, it's all finished. It's all going to look the same.
Good. Perfect. Okay.
I'm just looking to see where it says we shouldn't mix materials in such a way. I'm not finding it in the fence standards.
So usually it says, historically it's F5, historically appropriate fencing materials include wrought iron and wood. So it's saying that technically both, and then let's see, hold on. So that allows for both, but okay, F8, wood pick fences and plank fences may be left unpainted, blah, 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 stained a light color, blah, blah, blah. Privacy fences may be left aged naturally, painted a neutral color, stain color. Plank or picket fences may also be painted. Metal fences must be painted black. Use of privacy fences that are solid wood boards, this is F9, that do not obstruct the historic viewscape from a public way. Privacy fences are not permitted for front yard fencing. Privacy fences located in the side property shall not extend beyond the front line of the building. And solid wood privacy fences should only be used with flat or arched tops.
I think that
is F10.
I think the issue previously was because they wanted black and then they wanted a black privacy fence and we couldn't approve that. And because this is already black and we're making that exception, I think that the metal and the wood would be okay. Previously, we denied that one. Was it Was it the Ballards? I mean, not
No.
the Ballards. Yeah.
Blanford's.
Yes.
Yep. And
Um,
well, what it was is they wanted to add metal on certain sections and then certain sections be wood, and they met, and it was visible from the front. So, and the sides.
Yeah, and I remember that. And this is a very different design and a very different, it's just a different situation by a long shot. That was going to be very awkward, and this seems appropriate to me.
Mhm.
How does the rest of the board feel about it?
I feel
I
good.
think I'm
about
hungry,
it.
Beth.
I'm comfortable with it.
Pat's good. Summer?
I'm good. I like it.
Okay. Excellent.
Um,
Just
Make
make that,
sure-
and I can basically state that all the reasons that we said that, the non-visibility, it being at the very back on the alley, it'll be painted all the same color, so you won't be, until you walk up to it, you won't be able to tell it's a mix. And it also does, it's not just metal against wood, it's metal and wood with wood, right? So that's a different scenario, and I can use all of those reasons as circumstantial, which make it
Good.
applicable.
Great.
so do you have any kind of special conditions that I need to state for approval?
No, that just allows me to be able to work with it.
Okay.
No conditions on this one if it's as is approved. Jamie, do you have any other requests? Is this okay?
This is fine and dandy. Thank you so very much.
You're welcome. You're very welcome.
Who would like
Okay.
to make a motion for COA? Help me out with the number.
20-38. Look at me. 20
I'll make the motion to recommend approval of COA 20-38 with the following conditions. The fence installation, although not consistent with the fence standards, deeming this as a grandfathered in exception
Thank you, Summer.
under section 4 of the Barstown Historic Design Review Manual.
Excellent.
I will second that.
All in favor?
Excellent.
Thank you all.
You're welcome. Thank you, Jamie.
Thanks,
You're free.
Jamie.
Wait until city
Thank you
council
all very-
officially next week, but you'll be okay.
Thank you so much.
Thank
Appreciate
you
it.
from me too.
Welcome.
All right. 20-39.
Yes.
All right. Hi, guys.
And we've got.
Hi, how are you? Good. Well, we'd like to talk about the Valero conversion that we're going to be doing here soon. That it's currently a Speedy Mart. Go into Valero. We will be doing taking off the existing cabinet that is there out by the road. We're going to replace that with a non-illuminated cabinet with a manual pricer. It will be ground illuminated.
Thank
We'll
you.
have lights shining up on it. And then we also will be getting new dispensers at this location. And with those new dispensers, we want to discuss, they come with a door skin at the bottom. Previously, we had shown them with our recommended look, which actually it has the word Valero. And Riche, I apologize, it was super late notice, but I sent you an email. And we also had it in previous books where it showed the way that they will look when they arrive, where they actually do have the word Valero on them. Kind of similar in a way to the existing dispensers that are there, how they have an S, and also similar to a couple of the dispensers that are down the way for Marathon that they also show their brand. So we were wanting to go ahead, show our brand there at the bottom so everyone knows that, you know, they're getting Valero fuel at that station. Another thing that we have suggested is a Valero sign on the canopy. We understand that it needs to be non-illuminated. We've put it on the rendering here. We show it just kind of centered on the canopy, and this would be, it's basically aluminum constructed with a plastic face that will display the word Valero on it.
So I've reviewed the COA and I don't see any issues with any of what's being on the application. I think all of it looks great.
So the only thing is that they're only allowed to have 2 signs, even in the historic district technically. And I know it's a gas station. We denied 5 Star the right to have those gas pump logos. And so it's something that, yes, the Speedway does have it. The Speedway was definitely done where before regulations have been changed, which is why the S is on there. That station's been there for a while. And Speedway's been there for quite a few years. So the issue is that technically the Valero on all the gas pumps would put them at over signage. Because if it's any logo, and this goes for the sign ordinance too, which I'm also in charge of. So any logo or any wording of the business, I have to count as a separate sign. So in that case, the pumps become separate signs as well. So that would put them in being oversigned. So that's the only issue that we're running into. So if they were allowed to have the 2 signs, it could, which we have only allowed, it would be the large freestanding, which they are requesting, and then the canopy sign. And then I requested that the gas pumps not have the logo. They can have the colors, they can have the things, but they just can't say Valero or have the V.
And one of the drawings showed it in solid blue without
Yes.
the Valero. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
But are we talking where is that the location, or if you look at a different picture, there's like a upper section that also has blue and says Valero. So I didn't know if that will say Valero also, or
So ideally at every station, we call that the balance that's there at the top that also displays the brand Valero, as well as at the bottom of the dispenser. But we understand we're willing to make concessions that it's a historic district. We would be willing to go ahead and remove those balances at the top. We could even possibly talk about removing the word Valero from the canopy if needed, but really the door skins are very important, because when a customer is standing right there in front of the dispenser, it's pretty important for them to understand what they're putting in their vehicle.
Got it. I'm not comfortable because we denied 5 Star the same thing.
I was gonna say,
So I would feel really, I would feel very uncomfortable at that point if we were to approve this and give special conditions for that, since they were specifically denied that very same thing.
Yeah.
Plus another sign. They only have the 2 signs, non-illuminated. Same thing. They have to change out the numbers. They only have the 1 sign on the side of the building plus that freestanding sign.
And Rashay, I had the question of the second sign that we were talking about, the size of that. You said it could be 8 square feet.
Yes, that's a sign reg, because the first guideline states it has to meet all sign regulations.
Yeah.
And so that's within our guidelines. It says it has to meet city sign requirements. So the specific gas station canopy size signs cannot exceed 8 square feet.
Okay, that's, yeah.
okay,
So those 2, but I'm not going to recommend that the gas pumps be allowed to say Valero or any form. It can have the skins, it can have the colors. I just would not recommend the logo or the brand name be able to be on there.
so what's being requested? The freestanding sign, the thing at the top of the canopy, a sign on every pump?
Yep.
And on the door?
No, just a sign.
It would just be the bottom of the door. I don't know, Rashay, if you're able to share.
I just unfortunately on the iPad. Yeah, I can't. I got your email right before the meeting started, but I can't pull it up.
Okay. But basically, if you were to go on our application, what you had sent out, if we go to the very, very last page, how it's almost like you can see a location that's kind of watermarked in the background. So this is what a typical station looks like. So we are definitely kind of, really toning it down for this area. And so we would not have painted canopy columns. The the part that you see on top of the dispenser, that will not be on these dispensers. We're not asking for that. But the very bottom, and really it's the dispensers come with this on it. So we'd have to make alterations to the dispensers if we're not able to do this. But you can kind of see how it has almost like a little bit of a yellow swoop with a little bit of blue.
Mhm.
And then just real tiny, it does say the word Bolero.
I think with the fact that we just opened the 5-star, we just can't approve
Yeah,
that.
I don't think so either.
I wasn't present for the meeting with 5-star when we did not approve the logo on their gas stations. But I understand why we probably shouldn't move forward with approval on this, but I disagree. I think that it should be okay that there is a logo of, or it doesn't have to be their name very, huge, but I think they should be able to, 6-8 inches, have their name on there. But
in summer, that's part of the issue too, because it goes against sign guidelines as well. So city sign guidelines. So, and I promise it's not my rule, but that's part of the thing too, is that any logo or that I have to consider separate. So even on the gas pumps, and it's become a pretty big issue as far as my side, because that's the other part of my job is all city signage as well as HRB. So that it just, unfortunately, it violates that too. And I understand, and a lot of people agree with you 100%. But as far as it violates it completely, but I understand. And there might be a concession. You are allowed to make concessions because it is the historic district. The issue, and I understand, the issue is that, of course, 5-star just got denied for the same thing.
right. And that would be my reasoning of not approving this, but I think that something should have maybe been done differently with 5-star. I think each different business entity should be considered. One sign ordinance shouldn't go for every style of business, I guess is what I'm getting at. So but I think at this point, I don't know if we have a lot of leeway to make a move on it. Like I said, 5-star just opened. I'm not gonna vote against something that just passed through not too long ago.
Okay. Do we have any more questions or any more discussion?
No.
Are you okay with the Bolero on the canopy?
I am absolutely. Yeah, as long as it remains under 8 square feet, that's not a problem. That can be considered part of your signage as well as the freestanding sign. That's not a problem whatsoever. It's just the extra logos and things on the gas pumps. Unfortunately, I have to count it that way. And we did just deny another gas station in the district.
If I were to, kind of almost make a new door skin for those dispensers, and rather than just having it plain blue, could I have it similar to what is on the back page of our application, where, it does have the nice flowy colors of the yellow and the blue and the white, but maybe it doesn't have the word Bolero?
Are you guys okay with that?
I'm okay with that.
Yes.
I am too. Yeah.
That sounds good.
Yeah, you can have that. That sounds good to me too.
Rep Tish, are you still on the call?
Yeah, yes. So I mean, I just drove through the that 5-star just opened, and each dispenser has the Marathon logo on it. So I mean, and they just opened up like maybe I think so about a week ago, and they have like 8 pumps, and each dispenser has a Marathon logo. So why we cannot able to put Valero logo? I mean, I know they're saying that you can put word Valero, but I mean, that's, to me,
Are you they have the 5-star emblem? Is that what you're saying, sir?
Yes. I mean, that 5-star just opened up, in downtown, just opened up a week ago. Each dispenser has a Marathon logo on it. I mean, I have a photos and I take a picture of each dispenser. I have all that. So how come I cannot have the Valero logo? I mean, that's just I think it's not right. I mean,
Part of the photos that I sent you, Riche, were that station with the Marathon door skins on it.
yeah, I mean, they just opened up like a week ago. I mean, each dispenser has a Marathon logo in it.
Got it.
So how come you approve them and not to me?
Well, I don't think she knew that the logo was there because it hadn't been, it wasn't approved.
It was
So
not.
It wasn't approved, so how come they have it?
They didn't do the right thing.
Oh, well, then they might have to change it. I mean,
Well,
because,
now this kind of,
I've been, going off and on for like 8 months, and finally I got a, touch with the Valero. So, I mean, and then they guys, the big companies, they have, so much rules, regulation too,
Got it. We
Like they
understand.
have to, I already done pay for that dispenser is like almost $40,000 and the skin come with it. Now, if they, not gonna, approve, if you guys not approve, then I don't think so I can able to put the Valero franchise in my stores, and I already done spend 40,000 on dispensers.
Got it. Can you give me 1 second? So
Yes.
HRB, essentially, yeah. So I did pull up the email right before that. I didn't realize what they were showing me. So I thought they were giving me another example. I didn't realize it was 5-star. So that was not approved. It will take a long time for me to correct this. A long time.
I want to back Riche when it comes to this, because as the code enforcement officer, we have known previously before this meeting that we would have already had a violation notice sent to them for this to be corrected. So that is going to be my first thing come tomorrow morning whenever we do go in.
Well, this is the next thing. You all can make a consensus. It can.
can you show us the picture, Riche, of what it looks
I
like?
can try to do it on my phone. It says Marathon at the bottom and it has their saying on it. I can try to, I can't pull it up on my iPhone, but okay. Yep. Does everyone see that?
Yes.
Yeah. See,
Yeah. You all, I really think that that's okay. I mean, I know I'm not a sign person, but I don't feel like that's a sign per se. I don't know. I'm cool with it, but I'm easy.
So yeah, this gets fun. This gets really fun. So here's the thing. It's gonna take me a long time to correct this. If it's gonna take me a long time to get this resolved. So yeah, I'm not gonna lie. So it's gonna, looking at that and knowing what I'm against, you all know what we went through. It's gonna take me a while to get it resolved. So you have an option, and I'm gonna give you that option. Yes, it does necessarily sign guidelines. It does, but you have the right to approve it, giving that permission to just say the V for the Valero, or just have that on there on the gas pumps.
Let me ask you, Riche, is Thompson's in the historic district?
No.
Okay, just curious. Is there any other gas station in the historic district besides 5-star?
Nope.
No.
Okay.
You two are it.
This is difficult because she's right. A gas station is a very different, it's not like it's a store, has a storefront, or it's difficult to, I have kind of mixed feelings about, and it also depends on how big. Like if it was just, I feel like I would be okay with a V, maybe not the entire Valero.
Let me show you what they want. I can do that now too, since that worked. Hold on. Okay, so we're gonna pull up what else they wanted. So that's what they're requesting.
Yeah, I mean, that's small. I mean,
It's tasteful.
It's
tasteful.
fine. It's fine.
But we have to have a reason. We have to have a reason that we think it's fine. That's legitimate within the standards. We can't just say it's fine, because I don't disagree. It's not a big deal. But we have to say why this is okay, so that when another company comes forward and says, well, Valero has 6 pumps and they have 6 signs on every, a pump on a sign on every pump, and we have to have a reason.
I think we need an amendment to the ordinance stating that gas pump dispensers are not considered signage. You know, I mean, I think that would be the best way to go about it, because I mean, like I said, I disagree that it should be even considered a sign. I know that it says their name,
Yeah.
but
I can't change the sign ordinance, and I guarantee you I won't get that changed, because there's been a lot of debate on city council about that. And I will lose that battle. So the city sign ordinance isn't going to change on that way, but it is this is the beauty of this. It is in the historic district. So you have the right to make a decision on that, stating that a consensus was for the board to believe that they do not feel that the sign was oversigned. As long as you all don't have anything at the top and the bottom, I think we're going to be okay, because 5 Star did not have anything at the top either, correct, Elizabeth?
Yeah, just on the bottom,
Just at
nothing
the
on the
bottom.
top. Yeah,
It's
just
the
the
same
bottom.
thing.
right.
They pre-ordered a dispenser. Yeah, that's what they did.
And I will say, I think that having the word Valero at the top and having it at the bottom, that is too much. I mean, looking at the pictures of other places, that's a lot. But I think
Yeah, we're not like right off of a giant freeway trying to catch attention. This is, Pat, what are your thoughts?
I agree. The picture, as we saw, that was sent at the end is tastefully done. It's a minimal sizing, and the fact that it's just on the base of the pump itself, I think those were all acceptable reasons.
Okay, we just have to know that if we get another gas station in the historic district, this is an exception we will have to make.
We won't let them build it.
That is not. That is only 2 gas stations.
Hey, I've got an in with the Board of Adjustments.
Yes, Pat. Yes, thank you. Okay.
You're
Not to be
funny.
bad. This was here existing. Not to be bad. That's right, Pat. That's good. Okay. Excellent. I'm okay with that, guys, because you all know what I'm gonna have to go through. So anyways, I'm fine with that. If you're all gonna be okay with that.
Well,
I'm
if
okay
we're
with
gonna be okay with this, are we gonna just, what about Marathon? What are we gonna do with them? Are we gonna make an exception as well?
I'm probably am. Yeah. If we decide that this is a consensus between us and that we can allow one small logo or wording on the bottom, then they would meet that criteria as well. And that we can update the design guidelines to allow that.
Okay, do we need to let them know that they put those up before they had approval and that we're gonna make an exception? Because I think we should.
Yeah.
Amber and I will take care of that part.
Okay.
That's why I love Amber. Thank you, Amber. Yay.
Thanks, Amber.
Yeah, thanks, Amber.
You just did a great meeting, Amber.
Yeah, I know, right?
All right. So do we have a motion for COA 20-30? Help me out here, people.
39.
39.
Okay. I will make the motion to recommend the approval of COA 20-39. Based upon the findings that the signs are not consistent with the sign standards set forth in section 4, they will be accepted since the pumps, casings the design is minimal. It's only at the rear for identification to the customer at each individual site. And with that can be approved for the Bardstown Historic Review.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Rashay, you can fix that wording.
I was
How?
gonna say, Shay, do we?
You did good. You did good. Don't worry.
Okay. That was my question before we approved. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Excellent. Okay. Thank you, Elizabeth.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Michelle.
Thank
We
I hope that
really
makes you all happy.
appreciate it.
Thank
Thank you
you.
very, very much.
You're
Thank
welcome.
Have a good
you.
night.
Excited
You too.
to see the renovations.
Yes.
Yes,
Thank
it's
you.
gonna look nice.
Yes.
Good.
Okay.
Thanks.
What are we on now? COA 20-40?
Yeah,
Yes,
this
ma'am.
is Pikey Conway, and it's a landscaping. He's not here, but I would love to go ahead and take care of this and
Let's
get it
do
off. It's a simple landscaping design, so
I was gonna say, I looked through, it's just a few boxwoods, right?
yep,
Yeah.
just a few boxwoods and
Some
some
Monarda
small
grass.
trees, and they're all green.
Yes. What is on the left side, so on the north side of the front door,
Mhm.
what is that little stuff? That's not a
Um,
bush.
Monarda grass. It's just
Yes.
Monarda grass.
Okay, because it's 6 inches. So, yeah, I measured. Well, it's just so tiny. I couldn't believe he had anything there at all.
Yeah, I know. It's very tiny.
Yeah.
Looks
So,
good.
as long as that's just monkey grass or something like that, it'll work.
Is that a picture of his house on the COA?
Yeah.
Oh, his design. It's his design. Sorry, I couldn't get out to get a fresh picture, but it was his.
Okay.
design.
Say, that's a badass tree that's in front of that house, but I didn't remember seeing it.
Oh, yeah, it was his design. So yeah, the tree is not there, sadly.
Okay,
I'd like a tree there.
right?
There's not. Yes, I really would. Yes.
Yeah, and the house is, the door is to the other side. This is
Yeah,
what
it
they-
got flipped.
Okay, because
that.
I like this one better. But anyways. All right.
I
Did you
don't
all make
have
him switch it? No, I'm kidding.
We didn't actually. We didn't. He was like, I just can't make it that way. So we preferred this too, by the way. So we preferred this.
Okay.
too.
Does anyone have any issues? I'm going to close it out here. What do you think?
I just wanted to make sure that those are dwarf versions of the boxwoods.
He said that they were.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Because that space is so minimal.
It is tiny.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's tiny. Very tiny.
Okay, so go for it.
Do I need to clarify that, Rashay? In the
No, I'll put it in the
Okay.
minutes that we
Okay.
discussed it. He told me that it was.
I will make the motion to recommend approval of COA 20-40. My motion is based on the following findings. The landscape design is consistent with the landscape standards set forth in section 4 of the Barstown Historic Design Review Manual.
I will second that.
All in favor?
I
I mean, pizza.
So hungry.
Yeah, Beth, I'm hungry too.
So hungry.
Okay, so I've messaged Bruce and asked him to log on, Pat, to have your application.
Oh, great. Fred,
So I'm waiting for him to get on so we can do that.
and I will gather Mr. Hagan.
That's right. I forgot.
There we go. Okay, changing seats here. They've got to wait till Bruce comes on.
Hold on.
How are your kids being so good, Beth? Like, what are they doing?
They're inside with their dad.
No, that makes sense.
I'm outside.
With the puppy.
I mean, I'm surprised you haven't heard them. No, I'm not outside with the puppy anymore because I think my internet wouldn't reach that far. I think that's why I got kicked out of the meeting.
Mm.
Okay.
Or my internet just stopped, which is pretty typical. I think our house has terrible wiring for the internet. Or is it just everybody in Bardstown internet just stops every now and
I
again?
think it's the old houses, I swear, because like where our house had been added onto, like where that old exterior wall used to be, you get it on one side, but the other side, unless you're like, there's openings, connecting you to the router, you don't get it. So I need some I have one extender, but I need more.
Keep
If you can do that.
opening the wrong one. There.
Okay, waiting. Hold on. Thank you, Johnny. I know he's there. We just don't know he's there, but he's trying to send Bruce to resend the link to get Bruce on here. Let me know if you guys see him, okay?
I keep trying to do the tile, the panel, so I can see everybody.
Yes,
Yeah,
me
and
too.
it changes.
Changing back. I
Are
like
we
it that-
are we like for real live on YouTube?
Yeah.
because we have to have public meetings. I didn't know we were live on YouTube. I wouldn't have like stuffed my face with a pizza.
Nobody wants to watch our meeting.
Sorry about that. Ah, gosh. Okay, we're still waiting. Sorry, Fred, we've got to get Bruce on here. Dr. Blackman had emergency and Bruce had to leave, but he said if there was any trouble, he would log on for you guys. So he's trying.
Okay.
Is the three of us not enough for Shay?
No.
Pat has to recuse herself.
We don't have, yeah, we don't have Pat.
Yeah, Pat has to recuse herself. Wonder
Okay.
why, Fred. Wonder why. Or home too. Okay, so Ryan. Yes, Bruce.
Thank
Yes.
you.
Is that
God bless
Bruce?
Thank you, Bruce.
It's awful dark in your wherever you are.
All right.
Keeps his backlit.
Thank you, Bruce. Thank you, thank you. All right.
Okay.
Let's do it.
COA 20-37. Retaining wall.
Yep, Fred, you want to talk about it?
Yeah, it's pretty straightforward, as I explained in the write-up. It's we want to put a retaining wall on that hill on First Street. As you can see from the pictures, or if you drive by, that hill falls off, and it's just an attempt to create a yard versus the hill, so we can mow up against it, and then we have plans for that hill with wildflowers and that kind of stuff. So it's just an attempt to have a yard and then have the hill. And I think the retaining wall is that's one way of doing it. So it's that's pretty much it in a nutshell.
Okay. And guideline F14, do not install masonry walls in street locations unless they're used to retain earth that changes in grade and elevation. We meet that criteria. So
Yeah, and as I explained in the write-up again, our intention would be to backfill behind the wall so that the wall's essentially even with the yard on our side, and on the hillside we would take some of the dirt that comes out of the ditch and the backfill against that wall. But on the hillside, it's going to be anywhere from 0 to maybe 20 inches high, as you can see from the picture. And again, if you drive by, that it's kind of a varying elevation going down through there. So that will all be worked out in the field once we have a transit there and shoot a good elevation. Those elevations I gave you on my drawing, I did with a laser level and a string level, which is not exact, but it gets us in the ballpark, I think.
So I guess the question is, what is this going to be made of if we meet the proper criteria?
I gave some information to Rashay regarding the material we're looking at.
Oh, I see. Oh, yeah, this is beautiful.
yep, that's all in there. You guys can see it.
Was there a color chosen?
Granite.
What we're looking at, it's gray, granite.
And
Is there any regulation on the type of material to be used?
I can't understand you.
Is there any regulation on the type of material that you can use to build a wall?
Haha, I got him. He said, is there any type of regulation to build that material with the wall? So hold on one second.
Well, and I guess the question is, their house is brick. Do we need to consider that?
He has limestone lining the driveway, don't you, Fred? And other places of the yard.
Yes, that's the real stuff that's there now, yes.
Yep.
Okay, I see it from the front.
Yep.
And the front, the foundation as well.
Yep.
My only request is that it match that as well as possible. Were you able to see actual samples, Rashay?
No, because I can't really have anyone in the office yet.
Okay.
I just no pictures.
Okay.
But I mean, I've seen this type of material used before. The size of the stones does not necessarily match the front, but it's applicable.
I understand that. I was really more concerned about the color.
Oh no, it looks good. This looks really good.
Okay.
I've seen it on other things and it looks nice.
Okay.
I like it.
Are there any other questions? Pat? Oh no, Pat's not here.
Sorry, you're the only one talking. I think it's great. I'm okay with all that's submitted.
Okay, Bruce, do you have any other questions?
That was it for me.
Okay, do we have a motion for COA 20-37?
I will make the motion to recommend approval of COA 20-37. My motion is based on the following findings. The wall installation is consistent with the fences and wall standards set forth in section 4 of the Barstown Historic Design Review Manual.
Second. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Excellent.
Thank you all.
Thanks, Fred.
Thank you,
Just a
Fred.
side note, be aware that I'm in touch with Jessica regarding this because that is city property that I'm proposing to build a wall on. So I'm going through those details.
And Fred, I
Yes.
apologize. I didn't realize you needed to do that before. I didn't realize that hill was also part of city right of way, but I remember it vaguely us talking about that now. So yeah, you're going to be fine with Jessica. I think it's going to be okay.
Good. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Thanks, Fred.
Thank you all.
Bruce, you're free. Thank you.
I'm back.
Yay.
Thank you. Oh, well, yeah, that sounded great for me.
Bye.
Bye, Bruce.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Good night.
Thank you.
He saved us. Okay. Real quick, checking out the agenda. New business. There is a little bit, just so you all know. I just want to get a full consensus with the Conway project. Was everyone under the impression and very clear on that the windows were for the addition only and the original windows were not supposed to be replaced?
I don't recall, but I'm sure that's how we would have wanted it to happen.
Okay, good. So unfortunately, those windows got replaced. Amber and I have already been working on it. Thank you again, Amber. Yay. I'm not lying. She really saves my life. So that happened, unfortunately. So that's a violation. So there are people that are going to be applying for the for next month's COA who have brought that up that want their historic windows replaced. So I didn't want you all to be blindsided by that. So they said, well, Bill got to replace his windows. Why can't we? And I said, that's a violation. He wasn't approved for that. So I just wanted to make sure that you all were aware of the situation and you didn't want it being brought up to you, in the fly. So
just curious, why did he replace them? Did he have a legitimate reason?
He thought he was approved for all window replacement, and the application and the motion was specifically for the addition only. So I don't know how that was misconstrued. But he really apparently felt that he got approval for all windows when that was not the case. So that's just didn't want,
could you tell us the month that we passed all that with Bill so that I can reread it?
Oh,
yeah, I'd like to.
God, I love you all so much. Yes. So it was January. Let me pull it up, make sure. January of this year. Let's see. And it was, let's see. Let me pull up the agenda because it was all his new construction. And I'll tell you the COA number in a minute if you'll give me just a moment. Okay, so it was 19-255 in January of 2020. Bill Conway, applicant owner, request to construct a 2-story addition and add windows to that addition at 215 West Stephen Foster.
What was the COA? I'm sorry, I didn't catch it.
19-255.
I'm going to send myself an email.
Yep. but I wanted to make sure you were aware. We have cited it. We've already sent a letter, a stop work order, asking for those windows to be put back. It'll be, unfortunately, it's probably going to be another Annette issue. It's going to be similar, where we're probably going to have to fight it for a while, but it was not approved. And I want to make sure we were a consensus with that because he was very confused and I don't know how that happened. So
No, they never even mentioned two new windows in the existing portion.
No.
They had something written on the drawing and they thought the whole drawing.
yeah, thank you. It was, on one of the pages, he had requested to replace all windows. None of us were aware of that, so.
I didn't sit in on it. I just thought.
Well, and it was all under new construction. None of it was, addressed as existing, so.
Yeah, so the application, the motion and the guidelines were under new construction. So definitely very, very much so a very large misunderstanding.
Oh, it stinks.
It does.
His windows were quite rotten, but
They were.
They were terrible shape.
They were. And I have discovered they are from the 1800s. So they would have definitely had to have been repaired.
Yeah.
So they're pretty much, they're original. So I was a little flabbergasted to see it once I saw the actual makeup of the windows.
Essentially, I mean, doesn't, what's the gentleman's name that does the window work? Frank.
Yep.
Right? Wouldn't he essentially take the glass and completely redo the wood and then you just have the same glass, right? I mean, that's redoing the old windows. So you do get new windows, but just the same glass. Am I right when I say that?
It's either way. So it can go either way. So sometimes it is new windows. It's not, no, don't take that off the meeting for the love of God. No, it's new wood but it's also using the same wood in certain instances. So every piece of that mutton that they can retain, they retain. Sure. Every inches of the frame they can retain. So if they have to replace one side, they will replace that with new wood, right? Yeah, and sometimes they can't always get the wavy glass back. Of course, they'll have to replace it with new glass. But that, okay. So we allow that as well. Yeah. So
do we know if the windows still exist?
Yes, they do.
Oh, good.
Good.
And that was in the stop work order that the original windows had to be retained.
Okay, good.
I've learned.
Good catch.
I swear.
Wow.
Oh gosh, yeah, it's fun. So if that's brought up at the next meeting, just wanted everyone to kind of be aware of the situation because other people were trying to get it done now and I'm telling them no. But they also have the right to apply, even if I say no, that it's not going to happen. So just giving you heads up on that. Other than that, everything is happy in our world and there is nothing else going on. Do you all have any questions for me? There's no old business. So
do we have any idea when we are expected to meet in person again?
So groups of 10 or more right now, but our meetings almost always exceed 10 people. I'm not
just us, that's half.
Exactly. I'm not comfortable with next month. I'll make that very clear to the mayor. That'll probably still be another Zoom meeting, but after that, I will take his guidance on that. But I am going to ask that the next meeting also be a Zoom meeting for those reasons.
I mean, until I feel comfortable with my daughter, I'm not going to be at a meeting.
Good. Okay. I can give that consensus as well. Okay.
I mean,
thank
you. I know she's a kid, and they say that that's okay, but she had open heart surgery and I'm not going to risk that. Sorry.
No. That's okay. And I understand.
Don't blame you.
Yeah. Go ahead. Summer, I'm sorry.
Oh, I said I don't blame you.
Yeah, good. And if any of you all also have concerns like that, you can please text me or email me that too. So I have that to back up with requesting that these remain Zoom for a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So please do that for me if you do feel that way. Okay. Excellent. That's it for me.
I had to go to a store in Lexington the other day and I'm still freaked out about it.
I understand. No, I know. No one's comfortable, I don't think, right now. No one's comfortable with that right now, unfortunately.
Okay.
We just need a motion to adjourn.
Okay.
Wait, Beth, did you have something though? Wait.
No, I want to talk to you. I want to talk to you specifically about my patio, but we can do that on the telephone if that's okay with
Okay,
you.
yeah, I'll hold that, yes. You be on the telephone. Okay, so just a motion to adjourn then.
I make a motion to adjourn our meeting.
Thank you.
Do we have a
Second.
second? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Thank you all.
Bye, guys.